Hello, business builders, and welcome to Business for Breakfast, where business is the most important meal of the day. I'm your host, Aaron Novinger. And today's micro lesson, we're going to focus on the 5 pillars of service and how Chick-fil-A has dominated their competition for 20 years. Today, I want to talk about a message that is near and dear to my heart. And the message is simple. If we get better, our customers will demand that we get bigger. By the end of today's micro lesson, my goal really is that you walk away with a framework that you can apply in your business immediately. Almost a set of principles that will help you reimagine how your business is going to be able to serve your customers. Hopefully, this is a little bit of a teaser for you to want to hang out for the next few minutes. Have you ever felt your business was just sitting at a stalemate, that you didn't know why, but your business wasn't growing and you just couldn't figure it out? You see your competitors growing and succeeding and you're not, right? What are you missing? What am I not doing? What are they doing that I'm not doing? Because you've heard that before, that God's no respecter of persons. As long as you replicate the same disciplines that somebody else did, as long as you have the same gifts and talents they do, you'll have the same success, right? This is exactly where Chick-fil-A found themselves in the 1990s. They were facing the same problem, and they were actually getting destroyed by their competitor. So the 1990s, Chick-fil-A's number one competitor was, guess. You guess. Did you guess Boston Market? Then you'd be correct. Back then, Boston Market was opening up locations left and right, okay? So Chick-fil-A's leadership was under unbelievable pressure to keep up with Boston Market. At the time, they were called Boston Chicken, but to keep up Boston Chicken's growth, because they were opening up locations like crazy. And there was a well-known story back during the 90s when Truett Cathy was still alive, okay? He had said something at a board meeting that changed the course of Chick-fil-A. Let me set the stage for you. This is a Chick-fil-A board of directors meeting in New York. They're in some high-rise building, and there's this big conference table. It's all the board of directors, and then Truett Cathy is sitting at the end of the table, and he's just looking out the window. And for hours, they're just talking about what they need to do and how they need to grow and new locations. And the entire time, Truett Cathy is looking out the window. And after quite a while, he's looking out, he's gazing out the window. He's not saying anything. And then eventually, Truett Cathy turns around. And by then, the table gets quiet. And he looks at everybody. And he slams his fist on the table and says, I am sick and tired of us talking about getting bigger. If we will just get better, our customers will demand that we get bigger. If we just get better, our customers will demand that we get bigger. That started the Chick-fil-A dominance that we have seen for the last 30 years in fast food. The solution is simple, but powerful. If we will just get better, our customers will demand that we get bigger. What does all of this mean? Well, we're going to talk about it, okay? And it boils down to understanding that if you are in and run and own a business, specifically a service business, and you guys know Noel is really dedicated to Venti business owners. Venti meaning 1 to 20 employees, mainly the mom and pop, and mostly service-based businesses. So what you're going to hear me tell you today, if you own or run a service business, is going to allow you to create crystal clear clarity on the 5 pillars of service that we're going to talk about today. This is all Chick-fil-A did. What Truett Cathy was meaning was, if we focus on getting better, the 5 pillars of service, if we focus on each of the 5 getting better, then by default, our customers will demand that we get bigger. Okay? What are the 5 pillars of service? Shall we? We shall. Number 1, product or service quality. Okay? You guys understand that before Chick-fil-A's dominance over the last 30 years, who dominated fast food before that? McDonald's. Why? Because they deliver the same consistent quality of product. Consistency in the quality of your product is key. The quality of your product. So, as a service-based business, one of the most important things that you can do is have an audit process in place of your primary product or service. Okay, so if we're talking about food, do we have an audit process in place to ensure that our recipe is ensuring that we have that same quality of service? Okay? All right. So, number 2, customer service. It's imperative that if you have a service-based business, and I always like using the restaurants as an example. First of all, that's probably about 1/3 of the businesses that we service at our accounting firm, so we understand them very well. But you understand that as a restaurant, for you to have a constant flow of customers coming in, you've got to make sure that the quality of the food is where it needs to be, right? So that's the ingredients, that's ensuring that our recipes are followed, but also in the customer service experience. And it's an experience. That's the reason why for restaurants, or really any service-based business, you have a fundamental responsibility to that customer that you learn how to receive feedback well. Okay, so this is one of the most difficult things that business owners struggle with, is receiving feedback, because you own the business, therefore you take the business personally. But one of the most difficult things for business owners is to not take negative feedback personally. So you have to simultaneously take your business personally, but you can't take feedback personally. This is a skill. Okay, you have to learn how to receive customer service well. And there's a mental reframe, and I'll do a whole other video on this, but the mental reframe. But I just want you to understand, from now on, when you receive customer service feedbacks, service feedback from your customers, you have to immediately and mentally see that feedback as a cha-ching from a cash register. You've got to receive the feedback as a cha-ching, meaning this feedback is making my business better, therefore making the business more money, therefore making me more money. Cha-ching! You got to hear the cha-ching when you receive negative feedback, okay? That's going to help you separate taking the feedback personally, even though you take your business personally. You get what I'm saying? They're not the same thing. They're two separate things. Okay. Number 3, speed. The speed in which you deliver your core service or product to your customer is key. This is the reason why Amazon murdered the entire competition 20 years ago when they came out with Amazon Prime. I think it's been like 20 years since they came out with Prime. But when they first came out with Prime, it wasn't that difficult to set a standard in the industry because, think about it, back in the day, you would order something from, let's say, Best Buy. What would it take, 2 to 3 weeks to show up? So Amazon does this thing they call 3-day delivery. Now they deliver stuff in 1 to 2 days, but back then, 3-day delivery. Oh my word. It was like a game changer to the entire industry, because before the business would charge your card in seconds and take days or weeks to deliver it, and if you wanted a refund, what did they tell you? Allow 2 to 4 weeks to go back to your card? What? It's crazy, man. It's crazy. So the speed in which you deliver your product or service is one of the 5 pillars of service. So the 5 pillars we've talked about so far: the quality, that's a pillar, okay? Customer service, pillar. Speed in which you deliver the product or service is pillar number 3, okay? Now, I want you to imagine Chick-fil-A attacked each of these 5 and then built key metrics to manage each of these pillars. As we're talking about this, I want you thinking, okay, what is 2 or 3 metrics that we can put in place to measure each of these pillars? The most important thing in doing this is in putting in place the actual measurements to measure the 5 pillars of service, okay? You have to do it. It's imperative. All right, number 4, and you've heard me say it before, but it's the one word that makes Chick-fil-A dominate everybody else: consistency. The consistency in which you deliver your product or service is what gets people addicted to your name brand. That's the reason why the franchise business model is so successful. It's the reason why McDonald's, before Chick-fil-A's dominance over the last 30 years, before that, McDonald's dominated. Why? Because up to Chick-fil-A, McDonald's was the fast food chain that delivered the most consistent product or service before Chick-fil-A when it comes to fast food. The one that delivers the most consistency gets to earn the customer. There's a reason why. I was just talking to Rebecca about this the other day. We were talking about why is it that we've eaten at McDonald's, but it has been years and years since I've eaten at Burger King. But the funny thing is, between me and you, I actually prefer the taste of Burger King's food better. Then why in the world do I shop at McDonald's and not Burger King? It's one thing and one thing only: consistency. Consistency. Because roll the dice, every single time I get something from Burger King, there's always something wrong with the order, or they're missing something in the order. Chick-fil-A reinvented their entire POS system. That does not mean piece of sheet, okay? It means point of sale. When you're at Chick-fil-A ordering and the little thing that they tap, that's a point of sale system. Chick-fil-A reimagined, re-engineered their entire POS system, so that way when you as a customer say, all right, I want 2 barbecues, 2 Polynesian, 1 Chick-fil-A sauce, and a mayonnaise, 5 napkins, and 3 knives. That is exactly what's going to be in your bag. You want to know why? Because every single condiment has its own item with quantity. So that's why when you say you want 3 Chick-fil-A sauces, 2 barbecues, and 3 Polynesians, that's exactly what's going to be in your bag. Because that's exactly Chick-fil-A decided 30 years ago that how they were going to dominate the industry was by delivering the best food at the quickest pace with the best service, and they were going to do it the most consistently. And guess what? They've killed everybody. And that's why the fifth pillar of service is actually the least important, and that is competitively priced. There's a reason why Chick-fil-A is the most expensive fast food place to eat at. And people pay it all day long. Why? It's because nobody minds paying a competitive price if they have the best quality of food, if they have the best customer service, if the speed is the best in the business, right? And you do it more consistently than anybody else. Hello, you're gonna kill everybody. And it doesn't matter your industry. I want you to think about this. Amazon. Was there already somebody in that space that did retail? Yeah. In the beginning, Amazon was not the everything end all be all. They went head to head for books. But here's the thing. They were able to have a better selection. You got it faster, competitively priced, most consistent service, right? And that's how Amazon started slowly earning our trust, which means our money. Let's be honest. This entire channel is on the little tips and tricks that we all need as Venti business owners to help dominate our market, increase our profits, and start taking a little bit of that business away from one of these giant franchises that's taking all the business. But why is it taking all the business? Because they deliver the four pillars, or really the top three pillars, and the fourth one being more consistently than everybody else, and they're competitively priced. If you, as a Venti business owner, will focus on the 5 pillars of service, I am telling you, you have no choice but to dominate your market and double your profits in a year. You have no choice but to do this, okay? So that is really my kind of encouragement to you as a business owner, right? Focus on the 5 pillars, create 2 to 3 metrics that they can measure each of those 5 pillars, right? And of course, one of those being consistency, right? So that's pillar number 4, consistency. Make sure you do it consistently and watch what happens. You will end up taking over the business, right? So remember, guys, whether you think it's hard or you think it's easy, you're right. With that being said, what time is it, gang? It's time to get to work. You guys have a great day, and we'll talk to you soon.